Good afternoon. It's Erica of Arable Arts, and we're here for some bat making for our Sunday demo. I'm going to let people gather. I'm going to hydrate. If you can tell from the slightly flickering light, I still have the ceiling fan on. I could have turned it off yesterday because it was like 68 degrees outside. It was lovely. We're back to the 70s. I think we're going to be in the 80s next week. So, today we're going to do a sort of bright colored bat. Definitely not a fall bat, but so I have this. This is Cheviot from Amy at Brilliant Creatives. The comb top, Cheviot, color is Jade. And just see if there's anything else on here. We're going to soup that up with bamboo in this color. I can't remember the name of the color. It might be anemone. I'm not sure. Some bio nylon in this color. It's Marina. And then I thought I wanted to just sort of bring in an additional color to pop it. So we've got a little bit of this sari silk. It's mainly gold, but it does have other like pops of color in there too, which is taking it slightly a different direction, but yeah. And then I got some Firestar. They're roughly the same color. So, these are from Compass Moon Creations. I don't think I have anything else I want in this one. Just peeking down here. Nope, that's stuff for other times. Okay, so that's the plan. Let me get you set up. We can chat about various stuff. Go. I think that's actually going to stay where it is. So, Cheviot is medium, can be medium coarse. Looks like I got a little extra right there. And it's clear that she doubled this up when she did this. I think I'm just going to undo the whole thing. Do it without tangling it. Go. I think I'm just gonna pull it apart here. Yep, there we go. Oh, that was nice. That means it's not compacted in any way. And I think I'm just gonna slip this. If it'll come off. There we go. There's the tag. And then I'm just gonna roll up one side. Set it aside. Ooh. I just saw what I might do with the rest of this. I'm not going to do it now because I've already picked these out. But that color and the rest of this Cheviot, which is from Curly Cues, look at those two together. It's like a 80s orgasm. Look at that. Okay, that was not family friendly comment. But look at those two. I like want to put on like my Flash Dance Jane Fonda leotard workout stuff like that with big dangly earrings. So yeah, that's I think that's gonna do with the other half. Okay, so I was actually just gonna come back here and haven't made bass in a couple of days. It's been sort of lows on mental health, and so I've been not very productive. So I'm actually going to take a moment and straighten some tines and pull out some fiber that's sort of stick in between, because that was that purple, and we don't really want that in this bat. So yeah, so my big things for September are obviously I've got that new show in, it's not a new show, but it's new to me. North Country Fiber Fair. It's in Watertown, South Dakota. Next week I'm hoping to make camping reservations. There's several campgrounds, so. But my goal which also, of course, then puts it on this month's to do as well, okay, is I need to buy a tent. I'm going to sleep in the van, and that's great. But this particular show is not at a fairgrounds. Or maybe it's at a community center. I'm not quite sure where it is. It's too far from the time for me to actually look those pieces of information up. But the campgrounds are out. I guess there's a nice lake nearby. There's like several campgrounds. And so I'm going to have to take the van every day to drive to the venue, which means I can't leave. I have to have something I can leave at the campsite. One to mark that the campsite's taken. Though I'm sure they're all reserved, but you never know what people might do. But also things like my car fridge, kind of have to leave plugged in all day, and I can't do that in the parking lot at the venue. I could, but then I'd have no battery when I came out, right? And so they now make tents. If you haven't bought a tent in a while, hello, Cheryl. They now make tents that have like this. So like usually it's on a corner, and there's like this little triangle like that has a vent under it, and it's got a little electric cord symbol. And the idea is that is where you run your power line from the shore power into your tent for whatever you're going to use it for. And these look like, these are not like dispersed camping where, everybody's sort of hidden. These are, things where people can pull their RVs up, and they're pretty big. And, they've got facilities and all that. And so I'm assuming it's going to be pretty safe to leave my fridge inside the tent, and all of that. If someone's going to steal a car fridge, they're not going to steal mine because mine is pretty small. Okay, so that's mostly cleaned up. There we go. So that's also on the list. I've been mainly scouring Amazon for one that gets decent reviews, but isn't like $300. I'm trying to spend under $100, which means I won't have the most amazing tent, but I will have a tent. So I got several bookmarks I can sort of go through and decide which one I want to use. But that will save me from having to get hotel rooms. It will also, I think what I'm also going to do is probably you break down Sunday night, and technically, I think it's like 5 hours home. I could drive home that night, but I was thinking, I could just go back to the campsite and actually like relax. And enjoy and not have to get up at the crack of dawn, which is what I will be doing for the show. That's one of the things I've sort of noticed is, I don't get to the campsite till later, usually in the evening, and then I have to get up early in the morning, and so I don't actually get to enjoy having the campsite. So this will let me do that. End here. There's no end. I will make an end. There we go. Yeah, so that's the big thing. That's I think it's the 20th and 21st, but it's whatever that weekend is there. I'm having real trouble remembering the numbers. I like that contrast there. That's nice. Nice and complimentary. And then, obviously, WAFA sale at the end of the month. I think I'm on Sunday. I need to double check and maybe make those events. That event. I think it's Sunday. For some reason, I thought my guild sale was this month. I think it's because last year we had it the last weekend in September, but we're actually having it the last weekend in October. So, that works out a little better for me. Also, by the end of the month, I should hear if I have been accepted to Midwest Fiber Festival. Got that application in. That's the one that gave me all the tech issues, having to do with file size. But I really like the fact that they let you put more than 3 photos. Just makes it really hard. Okay, let's see what this gold looks like with it. Tell me what you think. I don't have to use a lot of it. I just think that pops it much nicer. Firestar. Once again, not a ton. Go. Yeah. I like that. Other things I have to do this month include, well, I've got a couple queries out for some spring shows. I had one, I was looking at the Greencastle Wool Show, which I know has sort of had lots of different iterations. And they said they're taking applications for 2025. And so I clicked on the link, and it brought me to this login that I didn't recognize. It wasn't like a Google form or anything like that. It might have been WordPress. I don't know. But there was like no instructions. It was just like log in. I'm like, and there was no place to create an account, which is kind of confusing because, like, you know, usually so are they only expecting people who already have accounts to apply? Are they only taking applications from this year's people and then they'll open it up? I don't know. So I sent them a message. Hopefully they will get back to me. That one is mid-April. And then, let's see what else. So related to shows. Oh, I'm trying to decide if I want to do Fiber Expo in the spring. It did actually fill up last year. And I don't know, you know, is it worth the drive? It's a really long drive. But I also heard really good things about it. So I don't know. I just want to have a good rotation of shows. There's actually, it didn't get done yesterday. It might get done tonight. We'll see. There's a show out east that I'm sure, I mean, they take rolling applications, right? And it's juried and all that. But I'm just gonna send in an application. It's one of the ones in Massachusetts. And so, right near my sister's house, which would be great. And it may be a case of maybe they have a cancellation. You know, it can't hurt to submit my application. It's expensive. And I have to buy their insurance because my normal ACT insurance is not considered enough for liability and all that. Thank you, Susan. Yes, I should find out about Midwest Fiber Festival this month. Probably should find out about Thieves Market, which is the one in December here in Iowa. I don't bring my jewelry or my stitch markers, but the tie-dye and all that. And I did pretty well last year for it being my first time. So that one I think I should find out soon. Price of Midwest went up again. Actually, price of Fiber Expo went up too. They're all sort of going up. But the other thing hopefully later this month, application for Shepherd's Harvest, which is up in Minnesota. I haven't really done any Minnesota shows. There's sort of a tax thing that I have to figure out, because half of my stuff would be taxed. Some of my stuff would be taxed, and some of my stuff would be tax free. There's a fiber festival that's been around since right after COVID called Midwest Fiber Festival. It's in St. Louis. And I did it in 2023. That's the one where Esmeralda died in the gas station and I had to be towed home. And I had to jury rig something so I could get to St. Louis. And I got there late and I missed the preview. And I was sort of a problem child. And then last year I was on the wait list. They did offer me a space, but they'd offered me they called me in February. And at that point I had already said yes to something local. And so was not able to do it. So I put the application in, so hopefully I get to go this year. I mean, it's turning out to be a very nice festival. It's expensive. I think might be up to almost $300 now. But to run a show in St. Louis has got to be expensive. And then so the one I'm hoping to do maybe tonight, and there's very little chance of actually getting it, but is Fiber Festival of New England. Yeah, but if you can make the money back, the rule of thumb, as explained to me by several people, there's what they call the 10% rule. That the show fee should be at minimum 10% of what you make at the show. And I have done that. The only show that didn't work for me this year was Fiberpalooza and Convergence. Because Convergence, the booth was $700, and I did not make $7,000. There's a naked spot right there. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. I may not get accepted. I may get on the wait list again. But yeah, Fiber Festival of New England. I think their singles are $325, which kind of makes sense for the big. It's like the Maryland Sheep and Wool for New England, right? But that one I can stay with my sister, and I get to see my sister. That's sort of all the fun stuff. Yes, it does. And also if I get, so Michigan, since I've started the new commission system, where people can be oh, I really like this, this dress, but I hate this color. I can say, well, with a deposit, fill this out, and I can make you one. So hopefully that will help. And then Greencastle Wool Show, that's in Indiana. I don't even know where I used to live. I used to live in Crawfordsville. And then Shepherd's Harvest, which is up Lake Elmo, Minnesota. Mother's Day weekend in May. So Nella, if you're watching, if I got into that, I would not go to the Fiber Festival of Perry. But I've heard really good things about it. So I just, because of the sort of confusing element of the taxes, where my clothing would be tax-free, but my jewelry would not be. And then I have to figure out the rule about yarn and bats. Because there's some sort of rule about things that you can make clothes out of them, but if it's going to make home decor, you have to pay taxes on it and all that. But yeah, so that one comes out. This lot of show fees, probably going to be coming due this month and next month. But the other big thing I have to do relates, of course, to the very big thing, the VBT, which is the cruise I'm going on in January. I have to buy my plane ticket. But I have to get enough money to buy my plane ticket. That's the hard part. And I can finally see all of the shore excursions, which are a little pricier than I thought they were going to be. I think when I had looked up information about just generally shore excursions on Viking, I think I got in the river cruises section on some chat place, and so they looked cheaper. I'm on an ocean cruise, and I think they're more expensive. So I've been going through trying to figure out, prioritizing which ones I want, because I'm not going to be able to go on all of them. So I'm going to afford to. But it also could be the way that they do the excursion sign up is you're actually ranked by the type of room you have. So the more expensive the cabin, the earlier you get to get your pick of the excursion. So the people with the most expensive cabins get first choice. I don't think I'm the very lowest cabin, but I'm like the second lowest. And they may actually put the two lowest groups together. So it also may be a case of what's left. The other thing I found frustrating, I wrote to my roommates, and some of the places I know, like the excursions are only in the morning because, from what I can figure out from the schedule, we probably leave port, right, in the afternoon or the evening or something, right? But, and some of them may also be once we're up in the Arctic Circle, they may only be doing them at certain times of day because daylight is so short, right? And so they're trying to, unless it's specifically a go look for the Northern Lights tour, which is the theme of the voyage I'm going on. So, near the end of the cruise, we're going to end up in Bergen, Norway. And that's actually where so on the second to last day, I think the night before maybe, we get into Bergen. And then there's a full day there, and then we overnight, and then we disembark the next morning in Bergen. But the day before disembarkment, all but one of the shore excursions are in the morning. Now, as someone who has planned trips and taken students abroad and all of that, I don't know why they can't have some in the morning and some in the afternoon in ways that people could do both, right? Because there's a whole bunch of cool things. That one I'm looking at, and I'm like, there's 3 things I would like to sign up for. And if I can afford it, I'm probably going to be able to pick one. But for example, there's a trip out to the Dale Knitting Factory, right? So Dale of Norway, and their store, and sort of all that. And I was like, cool, knitting stuff. Okay, yeah. And then there's another one that's a tour to a 19th century knitting factory, plus something else. Also in the morning. And then there's a tour that goes to a medieval stave church, which are the wooden medieval churches that Norway is well known for, and it also goes to The House of Edgar Grieg, and there was something else that was really cool too. And so I'm like, there's 3 things I want to do. And why would you put 2 textile things? Because there's other things too. There's like a culinary walking tour, and there's probably a couple like athletic things, like go climb a mountain type of stuff. And there's one where you can go out to a farmhouse and learn about Norwegian farmers and all that. And then the one afternoon tour is going, I think, to that same place and learning how to cook lefse. But I'm like, why would you put 2 textile things back, like, opposing? Like, so a person interested in textiles can only do one of those. I thought, that's, maybe there's a reason, but it's just not clear from what I can see on the computer. Okay, gold. That one's bugging. So a little bit of that out. I love doing sari silk like this. Because if you put it through the liquor and it just like sticks to everything. And like only half of it ends up on the main drum, the rest stays over here. Okay, so let's have some of this. Just want to use just a little bit on the outside here so it doesn't end up falling off. Okay. Let's find a pen, piece of paper. If you have any name suggestions, please pop them in the comments. I think if there's anything else I got big going on this month. I'll wait on it. We'll sort of see. Okay, so break the bat. So now you can start guessing weights if you'd like. Closest person to the actual weight wins these wonderful trophy emojis and bragging rights. So, by the way, I will, if you look at the post of events, I'll be doing this next weekend, but then the following weekend I will not be doing one. I'll be in South Dakota, and since I'm going to stay that extra day, I may or may not be back in time, but I wouldn't really be in any state to do a demo. So, and then the last weekend of the month, I will be. There's a little bit of white stuff here. We'll get rid of this. It's a waffle weekend, so we're going to do the demo on Monday. Also, because I think I'm on Sunday for my. I think I'm like Sunday early evening or very late afternoon. I would have to check. Because I'm not trusting my memory on anything. Anybody else want to put in a guess? Oh. I could call it tropical fish. I don't think I've used that one before. Sometimes people give me name suggestions. I'm like, that's really great. I've already used it 5 times. There's a reason I number everything. Now I'm going to step off camera real quick because I have cleared off, mostly, the place where I fluff and fold. So I will fluff and fold this and probably get sari silk all over it because it sticks. So it is, I would say it's a medium fineness on this bat because of the Cheviot. Yeah, so and Cheviot is great for socks outdoor wear, household items. I wouldn't call it next to skin soft. Okay, here we go. Blue didn't show up nearly as much as I thought it was going to. I think there's a little more blue in person than you see on the camera. Maybe. Sometimes cameras have trouble with greens and blues. Okay, let's find out the weight. Anyone else want to make a guess? Ooh, sunlight on the water. Make sure nothing's touching it. 0. Okay, it comes to 2.65. Hang on. Yes, 6.5. It's bouncing around a little, but just so that last number, just so I can round it up. So 2.65 ounces. And looks like sunlight on the water. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to call it tropical fish. It has a very tropical feel, so we'll call it tropical fish. Okay, I'll take some photos of this later because the sun is right where I normally take the wall. I normally take my photos and put up some images of it. Though, and normally I would make just a second one of these, but I really want to do these two together, so I'm going to use the other half with that purple. So yeah. So thank you very much for tuning in. I'll try and get the other events made. I got all the demos made for this month. I need to get the other waffle bat making demos made, and then my sale demo. Oh, and I have to put my social media images in Dropbox. I knew I was forgetting something. I was supposed to do that on Friday. So we'll do that now. So yeah, so thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you all around on Facebook.